Hello everybody. I'm here in the SC01 meeting room, which we're gradually turning into a recording studio for lectures. So I just thought I'd show you some of the equipment we're starting to play with, which will be available for you to use very shortly. So the first thing that we are assuming is that you're going to come in here with your own laptop. So we're going to provide devices that you can plug into your own laptop, but you'll be using whatever recording environment is familiar to you. The first thing that many people don't necessarily have is a good microphone, and arguably that's the most important thing for this, is to be able to record decent sound quality. So we have here a small selection, and I will come and grab this camera and move it so you can see what we've got here. So we have the blue Snowball here, which is a somewhat eccentric looking mic, but it is actually quite a good one, really quite a good one, and comes on a little stand, and if you have space on your table, as we do in the recording studio for this will give you a very good, smooth, rich sound. It's perhaps a little harsh on the sibilance at times, and a better one for that is this little Rode NT USB mini mic, which is an excellent mic. Probably overall, I think I prefer the sound quality of the blue. Some people may prefer that. This does have the big advantage that it takes a lot less space on your desk. So if you have one at home, this is a very good mic to have. The ones we may actually end up using here in the recording studios are these slightly larger Rode NT USB mics, and they have various extra facilities, but they have a very good sound quality as well, while still being a sensible price. So that's probably what you'll find here ready to go if you come and use these facilities. The next thing, of course, is cameras. And so we've been experimenting with a couple here. I'm currently using, so I have a built-in camera on my iMac, so I don't need this, but if you have a larger screen, or if you are wanting to position it somewhere else, because usually laptop screen cameras are no good because they're much too low, then having one of these external cameras which you can pick up to something more like eye level is a very good idea. And I've got a couple here that we're experimenting with. These are very, very standard. In particular, this is one of the most popular cameras around. This is the Logitech 920 webcam, and this is a slightly higher resolution version, the Brio, which can do a 4K image. And the problem with both of these, of course, is that they are very widescreen, as all of these cameras tend to be. So they're good for capturing meetings, and I'll just show you, by the way, around the back here. If you haven't seen these, they have these kind of interesting clips that you can adjust in a way that you can hang them on the side of things and tilt the angle very easily. There's, stand them on a desk, stand them on top of a screen. There's all sorts of possibilities to what you can do with those. And we've got the two different ones. We thought the 4K one might be useful if, for example, you needed higher resolution because you were recording a whiteboard. So we might end up using those specifically for pointing at whiteboards where you need a large area. You don't really need one for a small board like this. So either of those will work well. They're comparable to the cameras that you would get in a good laptop or iMac or something like that. They are certainly just fine, very good for if all you're doing is having a little picture of you in the corner of the screen, or possibly if you are if you're just wanting to use the facilities to make Zoom calls or do live streaming. However, they're not the most flattering, especially at that angle, because they're so wide angle. And so what you really want is something probably that's more zoomed in and focused on you. And so for that, we are planning to provide something with a telephoto lens, and at the moment we are very impressed with these little Sony cameras, which I will just need to put this camera down to show you. Just stick this back on its stand. So these have a flip out screen so you can see what's going on, and they have a zoomable lens, and we will have an appropriate way to connect those into your laptop. These have a reasonable microphone in them as well. And so the aim is that we will have this a little bit more of a distance, maybe on a small tripod. You'll be able to reposition this to your heart's content, but that is our hope, essentially to have a higher quality camera like this, which can be used as a webcam, essentially for recording your lectures. Now, the other thing that's important, of course, in getting a good picture is consistent and good lighting. So there's reasonable lighting in this room. There's very good acoustics in this room. This is one of our best rooms because all of the walls are padded and we have lots of curtains and lots of soft furnishings in here. But we also need good lighting. Now, we do have a reasonable number of windows. Sometimes the sunlight can be a little harsh from these. And of course, it's not predictable. So we have a couple of lighting panels here over behind me. And if I walk around behind one, may need to give the camera a moment to adjust here. You can see that these lighting panels have an on-off switch, they have a power lead, you can even run them off battery if you ever need to, it's quite cool. And they have two different brightnesses here, one for the yellow LEDs on the front and one for the white LEDs. So you can change the color temperature. It's not going to be visible on here if I do it, but if you want a warm light or a very white light or somewhere in the middle, you can do that by adjusting the brightness of these, and you can reposition them to bring them closer or further away as required. This room is also very good because of the backdrop here of these curtains, which I think works quite nicely as a backdrop for videos. If you didn't want to use it, we have reasonably grey walls behind here, and in fact around me here the other walls are grey, so that's a good alternative. But we do also have some of these stands for supporting backdrops. We have some rolls of different coloured paper and may get some material as well, which can be hung on here if you'd rather have a different backdrop. I think at the moment we have black and grey paper, and we even have some green screen paper, so you can try some fun experiments if you like. So this room doesn't need these so much. Some of the other rooms may need them more, so that'll be an option if you want a different backdrop. And then, the one other thing I didn't show you here is this rather good device. Let me put this down just so we can point this out. All right. So this is a document camera, and these are actually splendid things. This basically is a good webcam here, which is a 4K webcam, and it's powered from your USB. It has a little light in it. I don't think I have it plugged in at the moment, so I probably can't demonstrate this, but it has a light in it. You can set the focus here, you can change the brightness, you can set the zoom. It's actually quite a capable little camera, and it also has the big advantage that you can rotate it very easily. So if it's not lined up with whatever you want to project, whatever you want to film on your desk, you can change the orientation that way. If you need to go further than that will allow you, there is a little button here which will flip it 180 degrees. And finally, it's actually not bad as a webcam itself. So you can tilt this up, you can arrange it whatever orientation you need to get it to show you, and you can use it to point at you, or indeed at anything else, rather than at the desk. So these are very flexible cameras, almost with their own tripods built in, and they have the big advantage that you can set them to something like eye level. So unlike most laptop cameras, which are far too low for doing recordings or Zoom calls, these are actually reasonably flexible and capable cameras, and we will have one of those in the meeting rooms as well for your use. I don't think you want to use the microphone that's built into them. They weren't designed for sound recording, though they do have one. Anyway, I hope that gives you some idea of what's going on here. We will be gradually coming up with more of an established set of recommended equipment and instructions where necessary on how to use it, though the aim of it is that most of it should just be plug and play. You can come in, you can plug in your laptop, you can select the appropriate input from your USB, and it should be pretty much ready to go. And you can experiment with the devices, get a layout that you're happy with, and hopefully have consistent lighting and a decent background for recording. So hope that's useful. Please do contact me if you have any questions. And this is definitely an ongoing project, so everything may change.